Hello and welcome to the Heresy Lodge. I'm your host, Dylan Cooper, the Const Ghost over here.
Gavin Franklin.
And guys, my voice sounds like shit today because I am sick. So fair warning, I'm going to be very squeaky.
I'm so excited.
And I promise my balls have dropped.
Questionable.
But guys, we are previewing Eye of Terra this week, which is an anthology book. So we will do our preview through these, see where we're at. If we still have time, we might go ahead and go into some of them. Before we do that, though, Gavin, what are you drinking?
I've definitely had this on here before. I just don't know when it was, and there's a bunch left over, and I really wanted it. It is Odin's Nectar. It's a mead. This is like a mead, though, which is nice. Like I haven't had a strong mead in a while. It's always been like a fizzly mead. This tastes like the stuff we used to drink at Ironsides.
Man, Ironsides was really cool. Just to give you guys kind of what that was. It was a mead bar.
A Viking bar.
Yeah, it was fucking sick. Like they got horns and everything, and it was super expensive. It was fucking good.
Yeah, it was very expensive, awkwardly expensive. The guy would come out and be like, "We got a new mead in the bag, only barrel east of the Mississippi. It's like $200." Like, dude, fuck no, we're in college.
Dude, I got $3. So I am drinking from 4-Day Ray, Indiana Flyer. I'm honestly really confused about this beer because when I picked it up, I figured like Flyer was for baseball, which was kind of confusing me because we don't really have a baseball team, like a real one.
Yeah.
But there's a horse on here. So
which
I
is
don't
also
understand.
confusing.
Yeah, because I don't think we have any horse. No, we do have a horse track.
We've got a couple horse tracks, but I mean, it's not like they're known for that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, well, whatever. It's still pretty good. I like 4-Day Ray. We've had their orange blonde on here before. It was really good.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
So, guys, we have our special episodes coming up after we get through this book. Already been given some ideas. If you also want to contribute, let us know. You can do that by going to our Discord. It is pinned to the top of our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. You can email us at theheresiolodge@gmail.com. You can always leave us a comment on the YouTube. Please like and subscribe while you're over there. Did I say the email? Email us as well, theheresiolodge@gmail.com. And if you feel like contributing to the podcast at all, tips are enabled on Twitter. Those are all the things. Gavin, let's get into it.
Eye of Terra.
Yes.
So
starts off with the Wolf of Ash and Fire.
Yes, it's a Graham McNeil story, and it's a longer one. I think it's the longest one in the book. Aurelian's
really long.
This one is really cool, but also not important.
Yes, I really like it. So just kind of a synopsis. We have Horus and the Emperor
fighting together.
Yeah, fighting together. Right, this is right before Olinar.
Yeah, it's like that cover of the book.
Starting the battle with the orcs.
Pre-Olinar, the setup to Olinar, and you kind of follow Sejuanis. It's like Sejuanis, however you want to say it.
I don't know.
I think it's interesting because to me it kind of seems like they always look for a way to bring him into the story.
And like, damn, we killed this dude in like 3 pages.
I'm fully expecting he was dead before the heresy began. The book started.
He sure was.
I'm fully expecting his like ghost to come back at some point during the Siege of Terra. I think it's going to be so annoying. But yeah, it goes over his like situation with the Morning Vault and the rituals they do, but it all kind of seems a little pointless. Does that make sense? Like it goes over the rituals of the Morning Vault, and I'm like, why do I need to know the rituals of the Morning Vault before Loken was even in the morning, before the books even started? Like, I don't know. We get to see the Emperor fight, which is cool. Get to see Horus fight, which is cool. And there's some psychic shenanigans that go on for sure.
Yeah, it's a cool one. Next is Aurelian by ADB. And This is really cool. So this is in between the first heretic and betrayer, and this is where Lorgar goes into the Eye of Terror. He did not go into the Eye of Terror. He went to the Eye of Terror.
Confusing, yes.
Yes, and it's cool. We get some. You get to see a shard of the Avatar of Cain, which is really cool.
Some demon stuff.
Yeah, some demons, like
some
other
big
gods
demons
and shit. Yeah, some real big demons.
This is a really cool story. Like, props to ADB again, as always. But it's just like, it's that period in between Argal Tall going in and doing his situation, and once they decide, okay, we're gonna go full chaos. It's after Argal Tall comes back and is like, Lorgar, you need to go now, and this is the experience that he has. One thing that's really cool about this is he's telling this experience to Magnus.
Yes.
And it's taking place, this story, him telling the story is taking place right after Isfon 5. And so we get a little insight from Magnus too, which is interesting because you kind of start thinking about his allegiances and how quickly he made his decision or how unquickly he made his decision. There's some things to talk about there because ADB also wrote Betrayer, so I'm a little confused on some things, but we can kind of wrap back around to that.
Yeah, another kind of interesting thing too is there's some time travel shit in here, which is interesting.
Yes, I mean, I feel like both of the teleportations into the warp with the demons and the ward bearers had time travel stuff, and we now know that the entire series is really just to blame on Argal Tall.
Amen. All right, so next we have the Long Night. This is the Sevatar one.
That doesn't seem right though. Long Night is much further in the story. You had the Massacre is the next one.
Yeah, you're right. Massacre. Fucking, I have two different lists going on. So Massacre.
This is about
seen through the eyes of Talos and First Claw.
Oh, really? So what is this one about?
Yeah, we're just
I just completely spaced what this one was. Maybe I remember I was reading this. I have to audiobook it because I don't have the damn book. It's been impossible to find.
This is Night Lords on Isfon. It's the apothecary who was like mercy killing, and then they got really pissed off at him for mercy killing.
I don't remember that story. I remember I was driving back from a tournament in Illinois. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I know I had to turn it off after Massacre because I was like, I had no idea what just happened. Oh my gosh. For a whole 6 minutes, I was zoned out there, apparently. Okay, so maybe I need to go back and reread that for the review. But yeah, Night Lord Mercy Killing. Night Lords is an interesting chapter, like Legion, because almost all of them are made up of criminals, but I would love to see, and I think we kind of see this a little bit with Servitor, but like a good Night Lord, which I feel like just doesn't exist. But it would be cool to get that perspective.
They would be so out of place.
Yeah, I think it would just be like kind of nice to like understand. Like,
honestly, imagine that story about your dad in the fucking camp.
Yeah,
that's what I imagine. Like the one good guy. Fucking Night Lord would be like, everyone's like, oh, what are you here for? Murder. What are you here for? Traffic tickets, sir.
Yep, I can see that. All right, what's the next one here?
Next we have Brotherhood of the Moon.
So this one is about Torgon
Khan.
The main character, or one of the main characters of the Scars novel, he was the one that betrayed the Khan because he was a part of their
Lodge.
Lodges. Look at us. Lodges. That's the name of our podcast. And it talks about how the lodge members originally became started the lodge, and it all came back from compliance that they had to do with the Luna Wolves, which I thought was kind of interesting because you figured it'd be the Word Bearers, but it was the Luna Wolves that brought them into the fold. And this also is kind of happening during the interrogation as well. I'm assuming this is after the Scars book, where they're kind of going through all the traitors, and they're like, "Hey, why the fuck did you betray us?" And I love this kind of response. It's like, "Look, it happened. It sucks. Can I fight for you still?"
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of an interesting character because he was the one that originally wanted to be a Luna Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
So it made sense completely for him to be one of the traitor ones. I mean, I'm glad he's still alive, and I'm sure we're gonna have more short stories because for whatever reason we keep getting short stories of these two characters.
Yeah, and The Path to Heaven is the next one, so maybe we'll see more character development from him. I'm very excited about that book. Very excited to go back to the Scars characters.
Agreed.
Inheritor. This is the most fucking word bearer story I think I've ever read in my life. So Inheritor is about, I don't remember his name. It's a word bearer.
Torquil Elpheus.
Yeah, boom. Just throw it in there. Whatever. Some word bearer guy. And what's this word bearer? What is he doing? He's erecting a giant tower to commune with the gods and performing sacrifices or whatnot. Just like the most word bearer shit ever. And he also has a contingent of world eaters with him. And the world eaters, they're talking to their captain. They're like, "Why don't you just kill this guy? He's really annoying." He's like, "Trust me, I really want to, but I'm trying to listen to Dad's orders. I'm trying to listen to Angron's orders." And the ending is just it's so funny. I enjoyed word bearers getting slapped by more word bearers because they're not word bearer enough or whatever. It's just really funny to me. Yeah, it's a very word bearer story. What are your thoughts? Anything else to add on that?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really remember much of this one.
Yeah, they're in not Calth. It's post Calth. They're running around the 500 worlds.
Yeah, is this the one? No, that's one of the Theo ones. I don't remember which one this one is.
Well, there you go. You can cover Massacre. I'll get there.
Perfect.
The problem with this story, or the problem with this book, and we were kind of talking about this before the podcast, is there's a couple really good short stories in here, but nothing like The Last Church. I mean, Aurelian is pretty good.
I like that a lot.
But the thing is, there's so many that are just okay and not important at all. Like they literally are short stories that just don't matter. That it kind of just, after a while, you're like, okay, what's the next event happening? It's not even novel length like Damnation of Pythos where things get interesting.
Yeah.
It's just here's another weird short story of somebody doing a weird thing somewhere random. But yeah, I struggled through this book a little bit. I'm almost done. You're done. I know you enjoyed it, but they're a little strange.
Yeah. Next is Vorax, which
talking about a weird one.
Terrible.
Yeah,
this is my least favorite one.
6 minutes. I actually looked this up. If you look up a Vorax, because I was again listening to the audiobook, and I was like, what the fuck, praying mantis looking dude. So I looked it up, and there's robots in the Mechanicum called Voraxes that look like praying mantises. The concept behind what happens in this book, I'm lost on. I don't know what the point they were trying to make.
No, I have no idea. I finished it and I was like, what did I just read?
Yeah, essentially there's from what I understand, a Scutari that is trying to dispose of bodies in what is called the Iron Ring, which I think is a series of rings around Mars, like mechanical rings. And he runs into some trouble. And that's the story.
Yeah.
All right, what's up next?
Iron Fire.
All right, fire.
So this was a This was a story. So, for those that read the short story that introduced Dantioch, the main character of this one is the one that Dantioch fucked and buried his ass.
Barely lived.
Yeah, somehow he's just like twitching down there. The only survivor. And they're like, you can be in charge of this random ship that we don't care about. Like, I got a new battle plan. It's called the Iron Fire.
Iron Fire says it like 17 times in the book too.
Just keep going. It's the Iron Fire.
We're in the Iron Fire. Like, what are you doing, man? It's like so cringy. It's so cringy. Like, you can just imagine I'm like an Iron Warrior in the tank, like, oh, I don't know if I want to be in the Iron Fire. You're making me uncomfortable. I get it. We're the Iron Warriors, and there's fire around us. But there are two parts. So essentially, this story takes place before Age of Exterminatus, and we know this because Kruger is with him, and Kruger's not lost in a black hole. And it follows the story of him and Kruger. So this survivor, I can't remember his name. Him and Kruger are attempting to simulate what they think the siege of Terra would be like, and how they would successfully do it. The whole thing is bullshit. Like, so this is written by Rob Sanders. I'm not trying to diss Rob Sanders, but I don't think Rob Sanders has a military background. It makes no sense. And like, even the premise of this makes no sense. So I can't wait to go back and talk about this, because it's so confusing. But we do get one interesting thing, and one thing that I hope comes out of it. We get to see the siege engines.
Yes, we do.
And also, we do get
I love that they're testing this against the fucking Emperor's children.
Yes, that is kind of fun. Like, it kind of starts off like, yeah, these siege engines were given to us by that idiot, the lion. Anyway, let's kill some Emperor's children. And you get like Kruger, who's like, that seems not okay. It's like, oh, who gives a shit? They're Emperor's children. Not even the Emperor's children give a shit. He's like, that's a good point. We're fine.
Yeah, pretty much. It was very weird how that all came about.
They're on this planet that's a pleasure planet that was under compliance by the Emperor's children, and these Emperor's children are now chaos, and they're really torturing the people that live behind this giant wall. It's kind of interesting when they get in there and they're like, yeah, it turns out like the Emperor's children are doing some weird shit. And I'm like, no shit. Really?
Who would have thought?
Weird. So that was that. I think Iron Fire was actually my least favorite story, even over Vorax, because Vorax was just kind of stupid. This one was quite mind-boggling to me.
That's fair. So next we have Red Mars, which gives us some time with the good old Feel, which is easily the best Ultramarine.
Oh, easily by like 20. We get 2 books about Theo, and this 2 short stories. Both of them are great. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say like the best or anything like that, but this one, it's so weird the way Ultramar is, like, basically how Theo is viewing Ultramar right now. Theo is in this mindset that he's like, hey, Gilliman's full of shit. Like, this whole everything is, there is a war going on and we need to do something about it. And then you have like commanders and stuff that are like, there is no war in Ultramar. It's like, yeah, fucking crazy.
Some just like dumb shit going on. Like, so like the premise of this one is there are like, is it like communication like tower type of deals that are like going out, and he's like, you don't think that's suspicious? And the leader's like, nah, it's fine.
The guy,
I'm gonna fucking go out and take care of this because something's going on.
Yeah, so this is basically the origin story of Red Mart, which we ran into in Deathfire, which is not Vulcan Lives, but it's said a lot in that book. When Theo runs into Numion, that is the Red Mark that's with them. So this is the origin story of that. Essentially, they're at this tower, and like you said, the communication towers are going down, and the commander is like the most annoying. It doesn't even make any sense. Like the commander's like, well, you're red marked. Like, I think everything's fine, so fuck you. Like that's pretty much what he says.
Yeah, almost word for word.
Yeah, like, but he goes like really into town into the fuck you part. Like he keeps hitting the fuck you part over and over again. And Theo at this point just super annoyed, and he's like, I'm just gonna go fucking do it myself. Theo in this book is really annoyed with the Ultramarines. Like you can tell super badly that he wants to be a blood angel.
Or fucking anything else, because it's stupid. Like I think it like went through like why some of them are censored, and it was just like, oh, that's fucking dumb.
Yeah, some really stupid shit. Some characters were definitely put in positions where like no matter what they did, they would have been censored. And Theo talks a lot about how like it's really annoying that they're ignoring the war. It's really annoying that they censor everybody for really easy things. Like it's not like censure doesn't even make any sense anymore. It's just kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
And he does not like the Ultramarines right now. So, but he goes.
He ain't the only one.
He fights some people.
Yep, that was a cool one. And then after Red Mark, we get Mastery of the First, which was a really good one.
This was a good fucking short story. The question that makes you ask is, are the Dark Angels evil? Of course, like half of them are. But are they like really fucked up? And this is kind of the short story that talks about it. Every time I read a short story or any story about the Dark Angels, I'm like, they are the most ineffective, useless legion in the Horus Heresy.
Amen, brother.
They have way more infighting than even like the traitor legions. Like the Dark Angels have a bigger problem eliminating their people than Horus did eliminating the loyal Luna Wolves.
Yeah, or fuck, even think about like the Night Lords, just the Night Lords.
Yeah. These guys, what's super interesting, I really think that this short story goes to show Lehman Russ, not Lehman Russ, Lionel Johnson. He has some issues. He wants to be large and in charge. He beheaded Nimiel because he didn't follow his orders. He has conversations with Corswain all the time about like, would you follow me over the Emperor? Like he's got like some problems. He wanted to be War Master, gave the Seatrans to Port Rabo. It was hilarious. And I think his sons are very similar.
Yes.
And we see that in this story. Like you start to realize like, oh, the Dark Angels are actually a pretty fucked up legion.
Yeah, they aren't great. So just like a quick premise of this one, there is a group of Dark Angels who think that Luther is trying to basically remove themselves from the Dark Angels and be like,
which is not true at all.
It wants to be completely focused on protecting Caliban.
No.
So they try to overthrow Luther, and then you'll see what happens.
Yeah, they go to a commander who was supposed to be in charge of the Legion before they met the Lion. It is now essentially like third in command because they have the Lion and the Luther. And that's an interesting little story. I know definitely reveals a lot of fucked up Dark Angel stuff. No, they're so weird. Like the Dark Angels just they give me shivers, man. They're not a legion I enjoy.
All right, next we have Stratagem.
Another Theo story.
This is Theo with good old Robute Gilliman.
I thought this was silly.
I think like how it was like written was silly, but I kind of like the premise that like Robute is like, man, Theo, you do everything I tell you not to do. It's really fucking effective, huh?
Yeah,
I like this. I like this. I'm gonna rewrite my book.
Yeah, Gilliman writes a book and then he rewrites it and then he rewrites it, and which is a good thing, but it's super annoying to hear this concept of like Gilliman puts this is the story of Theo returning from. This is basically the next step. You have him leaving Calth. You have Red Marked, and then you have Stratagem, and then he goes into Deathfire from there. And this is his return to Macarage, and it's so interesting to see Gilliman just give up on his ideas like immediately. I feel like this is like Gilliman playing with a codex. Like you're reading your Death Guard codex, and then you find a really cool model, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to center everything around this model now.
Although it's interesting because from how I read it, this is kind of where he gets the idea for Codex Astartes.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is Theo gave him the concept, and like the whole thing was really weird because he was like, "Yeah, we just like the Red Marks is like a smaller force." And Gilman's like, "Oh my god,
Smaller?
smaller!
Ultramarines? Wait a minute! Holy shit!
Why didn't my tactical genius mind think of the concept of smaller?"
We don't need to send 20,000 troops every time. We could probably send like 100 to like a random planet and be fine.
You do get some really cool moments in here too, where Theo kind of calls Brute out, where he's like, "So Calth is bullshit," and you get that too in Red Marks. Like, yeah, Calth makes no fucking sense. It's like, right? It doesn't, right? Tell him. I know it. I'm the reader. I know it's bullshit. That's always fun.
Agreed. I just love Theo. Such a good character.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on. We are fucking flying through these.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna go back and review them.
Next is The Long Night.
Oh, so let me tell you what. When I first started reading the story, you know the McMahon meme where it's like something happens and he's like making a happy face and something else happens and it's happy.
Oh, yeah.
It was sort of like short story that's not an hour long. Oh, great. It's written by ADB. It's about Servitor. Oh my god. Such a fucking, like, I'm not even done with it. I'm only about halfway done with it. I love it so far. Servitor is in prison. He's talking to dead people, maybe. And he's fucking crazy, but he's also badass. He does badass Servitor things.
He does.
The way
you haven't finished it. I can't even talk about it. But yeah, it's really
I'm excited. The way he talks to his jailers.
Oh, I love it. He just fucks with them, and I love it.
I like his character a lot because Servitor is not a bad guy. He's in the Night Lord's Legion, but like he's just kind of, you have this moment in this book where he's like, fuck the Emperor, fuck Horus, like I just do what I do.
Yeah, and I mean the thing with the Night Lords is, especially like with Servitor, he's like, we are like, they want to be justice. They just have a fucked up way of justice, which is, whatever.
Exactly.
Like,
they really are like the concept of Batman.
Yes, exactly. Just mixed with some Joker.
Yeah, like if you like steal something, I'm gonna break your arm. Like that's how Batman operates. They are a little bit more extreme, I think, more extreme than Batman. But...
It's more like the Batman versus Superman movie, where it just fucking starts shooting people and like, that seems like Batman, sure.
There's just like some dude selling marijuana. He brings out the Batmobile and starts mowing them down. Justice.
There's no devil's lettuce in Gotham.
That's definitely a Conrad curse right there. You get to have his like reaction to the destruction of Nostromo and all kinds of various things. I'm very excited about this story. Finishing it up. And ADB.
All those good things. All right. So next is Sins of the Father. You have not got to this one yet. Let me take a quick gander. Okay. So this is about Amit and Ascalon, and Sanguinius is like basically trying to decide their fate. I'm trying to
Is this timeline wise? Is this post Pharaohs or pre Heresy or?
I think this is pre-Pharaohs.
But is it? Are they at like Ultramar?
Yes, I'm pretty sure
Okay.
he's the emperor at the time, but I'm pretty sure he's like having like visions of them and like possible outcomes of how things are gonna go.
Interesting. I always think Sanguinius's visions are interesting because I want to run into a vision that we know is not true. Obviously, we don't know about the fate of Escalon and Amit yet. Maybe we do in the Siege series, like maybe it's already been written. But a lot of the future telling things, they have come true. And I don't think that is good. Like, I don't think that is indicative of how telling the future works in 40K and in the Warhammer universe. I think we get a little bit of that in Aurelian. But like when in Pharaohs, when the Night Haunter had the conversation with Sanguinius, it kind of was like, oh, fuck, he's right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see some interesting things. I love the whole future telling portion of it. How long is it? Is it a shorter one?
I think so.
Okay.
All right. Next is the Eagle's Talon. So this one is preparing us for Talon.
Tallarn?
Yes.
So we get some Iron Warriors?
So no, this one is Imperial Fists. And they are trying to destroy some sort of objective that's on Talon. And it doesn't go well.
They're on Tallarn?
Yes.
Okay. Who are they fighting?
So the only ones that they show are Mechanicum. However, the next story, the Iron Corpse, is the continuation of this story. And it follows an Iron Warrior who survives what happens in the previous story. And he has to try and awaken a Titan in order to survive.
That sounds like fun. That sounds like a fun little thing. I bet you John French and David Annandale had a phenomenal time writing that.
It's very interesting. Like as soon as I finished it and then I started the next one, I was like, wait a minute. This is an actual continuation of this last short story.
So David Annandale is the guy who wrote
Damnation of Pythos.
Yeah. I'm very excited. Talorn, I cannot wait to see more of Poirabo and the Iron Warriors without Fulgrim's weird demon shit.
I bet they're also going to be very excited and not be with Fulgrim anymore.
We'll second that one. Actually, we're excited as well. Okay, so I know nothing about Tallarn. From my understanding, and this is like a guess, Tallarn is supposed to be like this is kind of a guess, but I think it's like a military world. What are they called?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's a really shitty planet.
A shitty planet. Okay.
Yeah, like it's like gases that are like not good.
I had thought that in 40K, the troops like the Imperial Guards, you can be Tallarn troops, like from the planet Tallarn, kind of like how you can be from like Cadia.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm wrong about that. That's where I thought it
seems like a shitty planet to me in the two short stories.
Definitely back that up, don't they?
Yep.
All right.
So those were the next two. Next is the final compliance of 6314. I really like this story.
So, tell me about it.
This is about a world that Horus had made compliant at one time, and the leader is basically Horus is back, and he's like broadcasting a message saying, join us, blah 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 blah. And the leader and his like second in command are just like in his office. And it's just like reminiscing of their past and he keeps asking, like, so, like, are you going to join him or no? It's just, he completely ignores him as he goes through, like, his past and stuff, and then he walks out and gives Horus his answer. And it's just really fucking cool.
That's exciting. This reminds me a little bit of the story.
And he's a human, which helps.
Yeah. This reminds me a lot of the story with Cor Swain in the last short story book, where he goes to that planet and he's being like tracked by Death Guard.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to like convince the guy, like, hey, you need to be like on the good side, or hey, you need to be on the bad side, yada yada. And you gotta go through the mental process of these planets trying to decide this. This is a little interesting. I would assume this planet is kind of important because Horus would just destroy it pretty quickly, I feel like, if he, so to bring it to compliance through negotiation is an interesting thing for Horus to do, I think.
Well, I mean, it was a planet that he made compliant to begin with, so he was probably like, look, just rejoin me and let's fight the Emperor. And I mean, a lot of those worlds, like, assuming they're just like really far away from Terra, it makes sense for them just to be like, well, the Emperor's not going to fucking save us.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think Talon is an Imperial Guard regiment.
Nice.
So it is like, I think it's supposed to be like a military world, similar to Cadia, fortress world, essentially. But yeah, it's probably really shitty. Just like Cadia is really shitty. We've been there.
Yes.
It's terrible.
All right. And last but not least, we have the Herald of Singuinius. So this is where Ascalon is just trying. This is pre-Ferris. And Ascalon is trying to basically just keep Sanguinius safe. And he's like in a room, like Sanguinius is in this fucking room. Then, they only like X amount of people in at a time. And the lion comes up and is like, I want to see my brother. Ascalon's like, got an appointment. He doesn't.
He doesn't.
If you don't have an appointment, you can't go in.
I hope Ascalon beats the shit out of the lion.
But it's like really hilarious. And he's like, I mean, I can go talk to him, but you need an appointment. You can't just walk in.
Your name is not on the list. He sees like two random humans. Yeah, hey, what's going on? Come on in. Sorry, your name's not on the list, Mr.
The
Lion.
lion's getting so fucking pissed, and he's just like, not on here.
I don't know what to say. I mean, this is embarrassing for you. It's embarrassing for me. I don't know. You're making my job really uncomfortable right now. Just make an appointment. I think that is really funny. One thing that is always rough for me in these books that I'm just like, this makes no sense, is the concept of Primarch bodyguards. They never do anything.
No.
First off,
what are they protecting them from?
Yeah, like, first off, let's start with point one. There's nothing that's going to kill a Primarch other than another Primarch, probably. Okay?
Yeah.
And I have not read a short story where I legitimately thought someone's life was in danger, other than Horus at Moloch, and he just absorbed the blow anyway.
That was against like a knight.
Exactly. So I'm like, what are you going to fight a knight? I don't think so. So the other part that's hilarious to me is like the concept that the only thing that really kills Primarchs is other Primarchs. And when that happens, the Primarchs look at their bodyguards like, no, I don't need you. Like that would be the one time that would be like, I need my bodyguards here. But they're always like, let me fight this one-on-one. Like, you're an idiot. Like, that's literally my job. You pay me money to do exactly what you're asking me not to do right now.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like, you have like the Death Shroud. Like, what the fuck?
Mortarion just sacrifices them every other story.
Yeah, I mean, so does Fulgrim and his fucking Phoenix Guard. Like, fucking Lucius killed all of them.
Yeah, it means nothing. Like, they're
I know
terrible
Lucius
at their
is a
jobs.
badass, but like, he should not be able to murder all their bodyguards like that.
They weren't even protecting Fulgrim at the time. Mortarion killed the Death Shroud, so it's not like their job is like, we protect the Primarch, and they all fail. Like they never do it. It's terrible.
Yeah, hell though, at least the World Eater, it's like it's Like they're just the ones that are like in trouble. Like they just drew like the short stick, and they're like, "Fuck."
Or you have to protect Angron. They're like, oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, then he's gonna go fucking nuts, and I'm not gonna see him for like 12 hours.
Yeah, I'll follow him and see what happens. it's like yeah, if Angron can't kill it, I'll be there to kill it because I can.
Yeah, I mean, like the Mournival, they don't really protect Horus. I mean, Horus was a Zobrin blows by himself. They weren't there.
Yeah. Now it's like Gal Vorback and stuff. Like the whole bodyguard thing makes like no sense whatsoever. The only time I've seen it, you remember Ishvan? Vulcan has his bodyguards. They just dropped a nuke on him.
Yes, they did.
I don't think that they're gonna protect him from a nuke.
At least Lehman Ross just has like some wolves.
Yeah, it's like, no, I'll just take the animals.
These guys are way fucking cooler.
That's the best I can do. No, my bodyguards, that would be useless. I just have them kill you instead. Yeah. I can't think of a bodyguard group that has been effective in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, can you imagine like being a bodyguard for Kurz? Like you're like, I don't know what the fuck this guy's doing.
The Kurz.
The Kurz.
The Kurz, the Luther. He has the Chiropteri.
Yeah, but I think those are just like
they're just Terminators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus Sevatar.
Plus Sevatar, who's not a Terminator, but he's in charge of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chiropteri just has Servitor, and even then, Servitor's like,
Dude, quit being a bitch, just go fight.
I don't want to do this. So yeah, the whole bodyguard thing is interesting. I like diving into stories about bodyguards, and to have Escalon be like, I'm not going to let this Primarch in, is probably the smartest decision a bodyguard has ever made, because that's 90% of the Primarch's mortality rate.
Honestly, though, yeah.
All right, is that the last one?
That was the last one. God damn my voice. One thing, I kept forgetting to do this. Forever ago, someone had when we were asking for ideas for like our special episode, someone asked if we did a Horus Heresy game, which chapter would we pick?
Horus Heresy. Dude, I would definitely go Night Lords. Like 100%.
If I wanted chaos, I'll go Night Lords. If I was loyalist, I'd probably go Scars.
Yeah, those are two really good ones. I might go. I don't want to play. I'll play 40k salamanders. I don't want to play 30k salamanders.
Dude, it'd be so easy. You only have to paint like 3 models.
Exactly.
And Vulcan, headless, maybe.
Really, the only ones like the Iron Warriors look really cool. And like you can get the circle, the Iron Circle for Puerto Rabo, and build those giant robots, which is pretty fucking sick. So if I had
Iron Fire.
No, not Iron Fire. Iron Circle. Not the Iron Hand. That's a whole different thing. Don't even get me started. But yeah, probably Night Lords. If I had to choose Loyalist, Scars is a really good one. That would probably be my choice too. Blood Angels is cool. I would definitely not do Ultramarines. I would never do Dark Angels. The Space Wolves are cool. They're just not really my thing. Like I don't disrespect Space Wolves. If somebody's gonna play Space Wolves, I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
But definitely not Imperial Fists. Been building the walls the whole time.
Yeah, I don't have enough time for fucking fortifications. I'm here to kill shit.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page. I would do Night Lords and Scars. Iron Warriors would be the only other one that I'd be interested in. Alpha Legion, the fun thing about Alpha Legion is you never lose, because if you lose, you were just the enemy team.
Yeah, that's true. I love Alpha Legion. I just don't know how to play Alpha Legion.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be like fun on the tabletop. The Alpha Legion would be more like a kill team. I would play like a kill team Alpha Legion. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, I feel like with like Alpha Legion though, like in order for it to like feel like an Alpha Legion thing, like you'd have to have a way to be like, oh, I infiltrated this unit or some shit.
That unit is my unit, yeah.
Yeah, or like you pick a model in that unit and you get to fight everyone else in that unit.
Yeah, there's some like fun stuff I've seen. The Thousand Suns have something like that, but it's like so silly because like you fight with one model against the unit, it's kind of like worthless, but I don't know, it's kind of cool. Thousand Suns would be fun to play, but I play them in 40k, so I definitely wouldn't play them in 30k.
And it hasn't been going too hot for you.
Recently, yeah, I'm trying to make them work for me.
You had a tournament recently, right?
Yeah, I did pretty bad.
Let's hear about it.
First game was against Chaos Knights, and I won that game. It was a very high scoring, very close game. It ended up being like 89-97, which is crazy, like high scores for losing. Like he was the highest ranked person to lose the first game at the time. And that was like a fucking blast. I'd never faced Knights before, period, Imperial or Chaos Knights. So to go up against Chaos Knights, it was just like, here's a 28 wound model. Here's 3 of them. Deal with that. And I did this. It was amazing. I got first turn, and he left like a big hole in the back of his deployment zone, and I dropped a bunch of flamers in there. I took like, I think it was 16 wounds from his warlord out of 18, and he was like, well, fuck, how am I going to deal with that shit? And it was just a lot of fun, a lot of like Mortal Wound stuff. And then I faced Thousand Suns, the only other Thousand Suns player there. And
how'd that mirror matchup go?
It was weird. It's hard because you don't want to take Wrath of Magnus. I had more denies than he did, but not by a lot, like by 2, I think. I scored 0 primary points.
Oof.
He had a knight, so he brought an allied knight. And essentially what happened was in deployment, because he had that allied knight threat, and he had a demon prince too, which was just like, he kitted it out to be really good in combat. Basically, he deployed right on the deployment line, like right up front. And when he put his knight right out there, like first turn, I'm like, I don't really have a lot of stuff that can kill a knight that easily. Like I've got bolters, like 2 5-man Terminator squads. I don't have the big 10-man brick like a lot of people bring. So I deployed pretty passively, and then he got first turn, and then got on all the objectives turn 1. And then he was like, all right, move me. I wasn't able to. I wasn't able to do it. So it was interesting. Then I played Blood Angels. I should have won that game. If I go to RTT and I lose in the first 2 games, I just don't. I'm not like super into it. Like I'm obviously into playing, but I'm now more about let's have fun. You know what I mean? You're going to a 3-round tournament. If you lose one of the first 2 games, like you're there to have fun now. So he had basically what one of the game is as Blood Angels. Blood Angels are actually a very good counter pick into Thousand Suns. They have a lot of forward deployment. They're very easy to not deep strike, 12-inch movement, +1 to their charges. Like that's pretty nasty, and their shit just tears stuff up in combat. And they're gonna get there. 12-inch movement, you're gonna get there. And basically what happens is they have a secondary now to where he chooses a character, chose Aurian, and he said, okay, if I kill him in combat with Dante, I get 15 points. Well, Dante moves 12 inches, and he stayed near all of his important stuff. So I was like, okay, I can use Aurian as my psychic power bomb and kill your important things, but now I'm 5 inches away basically from Dante because he's going to move 12.
Yeah.
And he gets +1 to his charge. So I'm like, God, like, how do I even? So he did kill Aurian in melee. And that was a 15-point swing. So that was pretty rough. He got me there, but I should have won that one. I was just being silly. But it is what it is, you know. I played tonight. I played against some Black Legion with Abaddon. Abaddon's rough. I didn't even try to touch him. Abaddon did nothing. It's like I'm not even gonna go near Abaddon, but he just Space Marines suck ass to play against right now, man. Armor content and cover, like what the fuck are you gonna do?
That's a lot.
You're gonna dedicate really heavy, like you're gonna dedicate big shots into them with a low number of volume of fire, and you're going to kill like 3 a turn. That's perfect. Does nothing for me. So it's really hard. It's really hard. Like all he has to do is get in positions where it's like tough to move him off of, and that's game basically. So yeah, that was interesting. It was a closer game. That one was like 69 to like 75, but it's fine. That's been my experience with Thousand Suns. I've been changing up the list a little bit. I don't know how I feel about stuff. I think I'm gonna mix stuff up again. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I need to fucking finish my shit and then build my list for the GT.
So excited for Chicago. So excited. They've got like a whole Forge World shop and everything. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I can't wait to spend money.
Well, other than the spending money part, we'll be able to hang out in Chicago. I know it sounds terrible, but it should be fun. I'm excited. Let's go back. We got plenty of time here. We got like what, another 15 minutes?
9.
9 minutes. Do you want to review one of them?
Yeah, we can do the Wolf of Ash and Fire.
Wolf of Ash and Fire by Graham McNeil. We get to see the prequel to Olenor, like what we said. And it's from the point of view of Sejuanis, but he's not really important. Would you agree with this?
I agree.
We get them going down to fight orcs. Trouble occurs. The Emperor and Horus end up falling down a giant hole or something. And they're fighting together, but they're getting overwhelmed. Which is crazy to even think about, that orcs are like overwhelming the Emperor.
There must be a fuck ton.
Well, one thing that's interesting about this is the orcs that they describe seem to be like the orcs that were described in the Saga of the Beast. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Post Heresy, like super advanced, highly technologically advanced orcs do invade the Imperium, and they got like big fucking orcs, which I think is what they were describing here, like highly technologically advanced orcs, basically. And the Imperium is just like fucked. And it's really poorly written, because basically what happens is like you have a group of heroes go in, they beat the orcs, but then more orcs pop up and beat the heroes back. So then they get another group of heroes that like you didn't know existed previously. And this is back when like there were no Primarchs, and they find Vulcan. And like Vulcan goes in and beats up the orcs, but then like a nuclear bomb goes off and Vulcan dies.
Wait a minute.
I know, right? And then they have like another group of heroes get together to go kill orcs.
And then Vulcan lives.
Yeah, though they can't find Vulcan, and that was the last time we heard of Vulcan. But we're pretty sure he's just like wandering around, doing some stuff.
Bitch.
Yeah. So, yeah, Vulcan led the Imperium for about a week.
That's probably his longest record of being alive.
Yeah, that
in
might
the last like 10,000 years or so.
Yeah, the Emperor's like, I had to give you that resurrection because you just died.
You are so damn accident prone.
It's crazy how often you die. Like literally,
it falls down the stairs and breaks his neck.
It takes other Primarchs like years to even come close to death, and yours like a weekly thing.
God damn it, Vulcan.
So this seemed like the setup to that. It's like they're fighting the beast is essentially what it was. Like those big orcs they were called there was the beast, and then there turned out to be like 20 of them. It didn't make any sense, but this was some of the beasts. And that's what they were setting up for. And then the Emperor, the Emperor does some warp stuff. Do you remember this?
Honestly, I don't.
He does some psychic shenanigans where, like, essentially they were going to set off a nuclear bomb or something like that, and he sends it into the warp.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone sees the warp. And Horus was like, what the fuck was that? And then the Emperor's like, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. We kind of got to get the fuck out of here.
We'll talk about it later. I'll meet you at Olenor is basically how the story ends.
Yeah.
Really cool story. an interesting setup to the Saga of the Beast, I think. But also like a good prequel to Olenor and a good like touch on the warp, and you get to see the Emperor fight. I'm just imagining the whole time. Oh my God, what is his name? What's the actor's name?
Which actor?
The Witcher.
I'm not voice right now. Oh, Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill. I'm just imagining Henry Cavill just beating the shit out of some orcs.
Oh yeah, you fucking whack him, Witcher.
Oh, Henry.
Superman.
All of the things. He's Sherlock Holmes now, which is weird, but it works out.
He's gonna fuck up some. I don't know.
He's gonna fuck up something. Yeah, whatever he wants. All right. Yeah, I enjoyed that short story, Graham McNeil. But the problem was it was kind of pointless. Of course, the Heresy 0.01.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's cool to see like the Emperor because we don't ever see him. That was nice, but yeah, I mean it didn't really do too much.
Right. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's it for that. And we can talk. Aurelian's going to be a long one, so we can probably save that for later.
Yep, I agree. Well, and that's a few minutes short. So, guys, that's it. That is the preview of Eye of Terra. Honestly, with how fast we got through this in the preview, we probably only need one review episode, if I were to guess.
We'll see what happens. I think Aurelian's going to take a little bit of time, but I think what'll probably happen is we'll make it pretty far next episode, and then the last couple we'll save for the special episode and then do the special stuff. So it'll hopefully we'll be able to do this whole thing and the special episode in 3 episodes.
Yeah, and if not, we'll figure it out. So That's it, guys. Hit us up on the Discord if you have any ideas that you'd like us to talk about. We've already had a few submitted already. You can find that pinned to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. If you like contributing to the podcast, we do have tips enabled there. You can email us at theheresiolodge@gmail.com. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. And that's it, guys. You have a good one. We'll be back next week with a review.